Hey, what's up, WCReplays.com? This is Orange doing an audio commentary. Today's commentary is going to be Night Elf against Orc on Twisted Meadows, and today it's going to be Remind versus Focus. So get the replay paused at the 45-second mark, and we'll get this going. This game was from Zotac Cup, I believe. It probably says somewhere in the random chat that ends up in some of these matches, like in the replay. It's also, the reason I picked this game from the series, because it was a best of 5, is because this is the one game where Remind doesn't go Talons, and I will discuss that later, but I'm not a fan of doing commentaries on Talons. Talons are kind of boring to commentate on, just because it's a lot about, you know, keeping your heroes away from theirs, and keeping your Demon Hunter near their Tauren Chieftain, and keeping the Tauren Chieftain away from your Talons. So it would be like, oh, he's got good positioning here in every single battle. But so Twisted Meadows is a little different, but we'll get to that when we get to that. So let's unpause this game from the 45-second mark in 3, 2, 1, unpause. So Remind's opted for an early scout. Nothing too special. Some people like to scout early on Twisted Meadows. I like to double scout. I will send one from my altar to the right and then down, and the one from the Moonwell I'll just send down and keep as a scout near the shop. So that's what I do. Or you can just be like Remind and scout early. There isn't really much of a difference in terms of lumber you get, just because the early scout, he's sort of wasted all that lumber that could have been gathering. But yeah, anyways, so he finds Focus. Not really a big deal. The other thing to notice is his base build. He's got his altar pressed right up against his Moonwell, and his Moonwell right up against his Tree of Life, and that will cause a block there as well. So nothing's going to be able to get through there. And then what he's going to be doing is setting up a Huntress build, and he's just waiting for Wisps to gather the 5 lumber and then build the buildings. Basically what you can do is you can actually take your Wisp and then shift-click to like where you want to build it or whatever, and it will move right when it's finished doing the 5 lumber. So this will prove that it's a full block. What Focus tried to do is actually block the Moonwell from getting up into the blocked position. So he's going to try and actually get through, and he can't. So that causes that proves that it's a good block. The other reason he's just chilling there is because if the Blade Master does indeed show up, I mean, he's got the Scout Wisp right there, so he can tell that Focus is going to be creeping, but he doesn't want his Moonwell to get cancelled, because that's always a pain if an Orc just Blade Masters his way over there. Focus picks up a Tome of Experience, which sucks. It's either that or the double Tome of Agility. That's like the worst drop ever. So Remind's going to be picking up the dust. You can actually do that when all the creeps have been pulled over to that direction. You can't do that if they haven't been pulled. And then from this point on, it's sort of guesswork as to where your opponent is. Generally, they're going to be creeping up the green until their shop is up, depending on how early they put their shop. Or they're going to be heading over to the other camp. Now, this will be sloppy play by Focus. I mean, yeah, he gets the damage on the Demon Hunter, which is pretty important, but he also doesn't get the creep kill. And you'll notice Remind hasn't really used a mana burn yet. It's because A, he hasn't really had to, and B, it would sort of be a waste of moon juice at this point in the game. Remind's also researching Ultra Vision, probably my favorite upgrade in the game, just because it gives you like twice the vision at night. So unfortunately, he doesn't get the Boots of Speed, which means his Demon Hunter's in trouble, so he's running home prematurely. If he did get the Boots of Speed, he could probably get a couple of chops on some grunts right now. And that would be good for him. Just to get the extra damage, try and force him to use a healing salve. I mean, it's not always 100% that you'll make him use the healing salve, but as long as he's forced to buy them and possibly use one, that's good for you. Just because it's technically it's 33 gold per healing salve. So oddly enough, he uproots his Ancient of War, and then he's going to walk it down to the mercenary camp. He's just going to creep that when he hits tier 2. And oddly enough, he doesn't put the shop right there. Instead, he builds it over near the trees. I thought that was weird. I mean, I guess it's preference, but I figured he would want to keep that block going that he has. So unfortunately, he gets one of his Huntress surrounded while in hide, which is very good play by Focus, but what's going to happen is he's going to path the Blade Master and then focus down one of these grunts. And notice he's got the surround on the grunt. This way the Blade Master can't get in there and finish the surround on the Huntress when the grunt dies. That's what I was trying to get out there. Sorry, I sort of just woke up. It's a little difficult to get talking. And Focus also went for the surround on the Demon Hunter just to get some extra damage, so he's going to be forced to use some Moon Juice. And he still has yet to use a Mana Burn. Just letting you know. He set up his first Ancient of Lore. He hasn't set up his second one, which I thought was kind of odd. I guess he's just trying to get an earlier Keeper of the Grove out and the Staff of Preservation. Staff of Preservation is very important, which is why you want to get your shop up beginning of tier 2. I usually do a 2 Huntress tech, which is probably why I get both lures up at tier 2. But he's going to be using one to focus on the Bestiary, and then he's just going to be creeping. Now the other thing that this Huntress is going to do is let him know when the Shadow Hunter comes out. Well, I guess he left before then. I guess he guesstimated well. Yeah, when you get to play this game enough, you'll get to know the timings of good players. Unfortunately, bad players have odd timing, so it's a little harder to get used to and to adjust your game to that, which sounds stupid. I mean, you can still outplay them. It's really not that big of a deal. So he's just going to be going straight to bears. I usually like to do a 1 Dryad thing where I get Abolish just so I can save Huntress and add a little more pressure to my opponent with the Entangle that I have. But depending on preference, you might just want to go for bears. I still like having the Abolish handy, just in case, when a battle starts, I can still use the Abolish on bears if he's going to just start hexing bears. So he creeps out the shop here, which I thought was odd that Focus hadn't done. Now you'll notice he uses the dust, and what you do when you use dust, you don't just want to use dust and be like, oh, the Blade Master's there, and try to damage output him into wasting his Windwalk. What you do is you dust, and then you use Entangle, or you click the Entangle button. For me, it's E. And then what you do is you try and find the Blade Master if he's not there. I mean, your stuff's still going to be right-clicking the main troll, so it's not really a big deal. But you want to get that Entangle off if you can, just because otherwise he'll jack the item and the creep. And Keeper of the Grove's headed off in the other direction just so that his Demon Hunter can hit level 3, but basically what happens is the Keeper of the Grove gets in trouble, and you want to keep it near your Demon Hunter so you can staff it home. So, sadly enough, he doesn't get his level 3 that he was aiming for, but he can always creep out another camp. It's not really a big deal. You generally want to get it sooner rather than later, though, because you want to out-level this. You want to out-level their Shadow Hunter. Like, you want to make a push where your Demon Hunter's level 3, but their Shadow Hunter's level 2, just so you can get some good mana burns off. Plus, you want to have Master Bears. You don't want to push before you have Master Bears, obviously. So, now he's going to be picking up an Orb of Venom. Orb of Venom's a super good item, just because it actually tears through Raiders a little better, and pretty much any unit with armor, because it ignores armor type, or armor amount, not armor type. Well, I guess it ignores armor type too, just because it's hero damage anyways. Actually, I'm not sure if it ignores, like, the Orb of Venom damage ignores armor type. I'm pretty sure it does. You can look it up if you really care. So now he's going to be creeping out the gold mine, obviously getting level 3. He could probably... Nah, he probably can't pull off level 3 and 3 off of this camp.